They both held their breath as the frameshift drive began to slowly spool up and charge. Sima at the controls, Eros in the engine room making fine adjustments to power flow, coolant, and field containment dials. All of it could be done remotely, of course, but he was just used to tinkering around in a more hands-on approach. We have all greens, oh my god, 1 week to pretty much strip down and rebuild this bastard, but we finally did it, Eros exclaimed. Hey, don't call it names, it might decide to break, Sima chuckled. Plot a course back, we only made it a few light seconds. We should be able to hit hyperspace travel. If not, we could supercruise a long way. Strap yourself in, I'm bringing her about. The ship began to steadily forward motion and rotate to bring the destination in view. The alignment lights activated, and the drive moved from idle into active mode. After a 10-second wait, Celeste counted down, though to them it was not just a computer, it was an angel handing down deliverance. The asp snapped into hyperspace with a thunderous crack, and Eros continued to rapidly make adjustments. Sima, I have a feeling that... Warning, hyperspace conduit unstable, Celeste interrupted. That is going to happen. I'm going to try and manually compensate. I have a feeling that the onboard systems massively overshoots what it needs to do in order to prevent this from being a fatal drop. Well, the conduit hasn't dropped yet, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it. We're about to hit the exit point. We might drop directly superluminal, so again, prepare for that. He was right. The ship dropped, this time more elegantly. The host G-class star streamed into view, and the ship drew to a relative halt before continuing into conventional flight. This time the ASP hadn't practically folded itself in half. Its systems remained online. Our distress call is out. Doubt anyone would come to our aid, though. So I guess it's more of a Fargoids were here marker than anything else, Sima said, tapping a few buttons around the cockpit. She jumped in her seat as the interceptor passed overhead and moved in close to the cockpit once more. Listen, we just want to be on our way. Sorry to disturb you. I'm making as much of our ship cold as I can this time. I just want it to scan us and move off, and then we can break this weird loop we're in. We piqued its interest. As terrified as I am right now, is it just me, or does it seem less than the enormous killing machine we're led to believe it has to be? This one? Yes, the stories I've heard always point to the Fargoids as monsters. They certainly do appear to be that. But again, we are too at times. Great, I'm flying with a sympathizer. No, not at all. But when you're a scientist, you learn that the grass is never greener on the other side. Take a step back and try and see the big picture. We're not innocent. INRA did some pretty bad stuff, and if those leaks in the news were to be believed. That as well may be, but as the saying goes, the sins of a father. The interceptor circled the ASP, appearing to inspect each panel, twitching slightly as it moved, occasionally performing full rotations. They both watched it on the outside instruments, looking for any sign that it would turn on them. Sima sat with her hands on her legs, away from the controls. Eros collected as much data as he could. After 30 minutes, the interceptor moved off, slowly drifting away while still facing them, before turning and making a cone shape out of its petals and opening a hyperspace tunnel. That's the sign. Get on top of that wake signature. I think I can keep it open to study it. Eros, you are insane. We should just get the hell out of here. We're safe now, I promise you that. It won't come back. It has no reason to, and we only have about 2 minutes before that closes. Fine. You're still insane, though.